My family faked my grandfather's will and gave everything to my brother because I'd be fine without it. But karma had another plans and now they want forgiveness. Hey Reddit, I, 25 male, don't usually post on here. I just scroll, read drama, and mind my business. But things at home went so sideways, I honestly didn't know where else to drop this. I was 17 when I got that thing running. A 1997 Toyota Corolla. Rusty, beat to hell, engine completely dead. My grandpa gave it to me when I was 16, right before his health really started going downhill. He wasn't driving anymore, and everyone else in the family saw it as junk. I saw it as mine. Not like gifted mine, but earned mine. The kind of thing you bring back to life yourself. So I did. I worked at a local diner part-time, saved every dollar that didn't go to school stuff. No vacations, no shoes, no BS. I spent weekends watching car repair videos, reading forums, asking the one old guy at the shop near school how to fix busted fuel pumps or clean a throttle body. Eventually, I bought a whole new starter. Got it from some dude 2 towns over who was gonna junk it. Installed it myself, hands shaking like hell. The day that engine turned over, I felt like I won a damn war. Paint was still peeling, the AC didn't work, and it made this weird groaning noise at 40 miles per hour. But it moved, and I brought it back. I had something I could be proud of. Something I built when everyone else just had stuff handed to them. Then came Liam, 16 male, my younger brother. Always had a problem staying in his lane. Kid was loud, reckless, disrespectful, and somehow never got grounded. Like, ever. Always in and out of sketchy friend groups, flunking classes, coming home reeking of whatever. You name it, he got into it. But my parents? He's just finding himself. Right. Meanwhile, I couldn't even get a B without getting side-eyed. Anyway, 2 weeks after I got the Corolla Street ready, I left the keys on my nightstand. Rookie mistake. I was in the shower when he took them. No asking, no heads up, just straight up stole it. I come out, towel on, phone buzzing like crazy. Turns out it's someone of my friends told me that Ho saw the wreck go down. Hey, I saw your car on 14th and Grant. It's bad. I think your brother's okay. I threw on clothes and bolted. The scene was chaos. Front of the car folded around a streetlight. Fluids leaking. Bumper hanging off. Liam standing next to some guys I'd never seen before. Baggy clothes. One of them had a bandana around his neck like it was still 2002. Cops already there. Apparently, he took a turn doing 60 and a 30 and clipped the curb before hitting the pole. No brakes, no license, and yeah, he was the one driving. I didn't even get a word in before my parents pulled up. Mom goes straight to him, arms around him like he's a war hero. Dad looks at me and says, "Why weren't the keys locked up?" Excuse me? Then the lecture starts. You should have told him he couldn't borrow it. He's still learning responsibility. Your grandfather would have wanted you to share. Dude, are you kidding me? This wasn't some shiny new car I got for Christmas. I rebuilt this thing with my own hands, with every cent I had. Liam never once showed interest until it was ready to drive. They didn't care. I was told to calm down, to be the mature one. Again, the car was completely destroyed. Know what else happened that week? Liam broke my laptop, the one I used for school. Slammed it shut during some tantrum because I wouldn't let him use it for a quick YouTube thing. Screen cracked, hinge gone. My parents told me it was an accident. I had finals coming up. No one offered to replace it. That wasn't the first time he crossed the line. This dude used to go into my room without knocking, read my texts, mess with my stuff, steal food off my plate like we were still in elementary school. He once copied my school paper, turned it in, and I got flagged for plagiarism. You think anyone backed me? Nope, just more silence. Just more of that, you're the strong one, you can take it attitude. And yeah, I took it. Because what was the other option? Scream until I lost my voice? Get grounded with him? I just shut up. I cleaned up the mess. Fixed what I could. Focused on my exit. I got into a decent university. Far away. Earned a scholarship. Moved out the second I turned 18. Took a Greyhound with 2 duffel bags and a used phone. Didn't look back. From the outside, they probably thought I was just chasing success. That I was driven. Focused. Whatever. The truth? I was tired of building things just for someone else to destroy them. That car? Gone. That laptop? Trashed. That peace of mind? Non-existent. They let him burn every bridge I tried to build. And I was the one left with the ash on my hands. My grandfather passed away a few months after I moved out for college. I got the call from my mom while I was walking back from class. Didn't hit me right away. I hadn't seen him since the summer, and he'd been in rough shape for a while. But it stuck in my chest for the rest of the day like a cinder block. He was the only one in that family who ever really treated me like I mattered. He wasn't rich. He worked his whole life running a small neighborhood supermarket. Nothing fancy. No big chain stuff. Just a solid place with regulars who still called him by his first name. That store fed our family for decades, paid for our house, got my parents through rough patches. I spent summers sweeping the back room, counting cans, learning how real work looked like. When I got that car from him, it felt like more than just a goodbye gesture. It felt like he was handing me something personal, like a quiet thank you for never acting like I was too good for him. So yeah, I was expecting something. Not money, not land, just respect. A letter. A "this is for you." Anything. What I got was silence. A few weeks after the funeral, I asked my dad about the will. He dodged. Said Grandpa didn't leave anything behind. No assets to split, he claimed. Your brother's helping out at the store now anyway. We're just trying to keep things running. I didn't buy it. Grandpa was old school. Paper guy. Always scribbling stuff on napkins. He kept records. There was no way he didn't leave a will. And I didn't push. I was 19, broke, trying to keep my grades up while working nights. But the feeling never sat right. Years go by. I graduate, start teaching. I'm not rich, but I'm finally steady. Got my own place. Built everything from scratch. No shortcuts. No favors. Just grinding every damn day. Then one day I get lunch with my cousin, my aunt's daughter. We hadn't talked in forever. Just catching up. Out of nowhere she goes. Hey, I always thought it was weird your name wasn't on Grandpa's will. He used to talk about how he wanted you and Liam to split everything. I froze. What will? I asked. She blinks. The one your dad filed after Grandpa passed? Didn't you sign off on it? I laughed. Like, actually laughed out of confusion. I never saw a will. Never signed anything. She pulls out her phone, starts digging through old PDFs she had saved from when her mom was trying to contest some minor detail about land distribution. She finds it. Shows it to me. Boom. Black and white, dated 2 months before Grandpa died. All assets, including the family supermarket, to be split evenly between my grandsons, Jack and Liam, upon reaching the age of 21. I sat there in that crappy diner, blinking at my own name on a document I was told never existed. Turns out my dad had gone back and amended the paperwork with some handwritten note and a notarized signature that wasn't my grandfather's actual signature. Said it was a clarification Grandpa made on his deathbed, that everything would go to Liam in good faith because I was already successful and Liam needed the help. And that was it. The county clerk signed off. No red flags. No one raised a hand. It was buried. I called my mom. Asked her flat out. No warm-up. Did Grandpa leave me anything in his will? Silence. Then, honey, you were already doing so well. He didn't want to hold you back with obligations. That was her excuse. Not deny, not even apologize. Just worded in a way where I'm supposed to feel grateful for being robbed, I lost it. Told her I saw the original document. Told her I knew they rewrote it. She didn't deny it. She just gave me that same line I've heard since I was 10. You've always been the strong one. We knew you'd be okay. You know what that line really means? It means you don't get anything because you don't throw tantrums. You don't break stuff. You don't scare us. I hung up. 2 days later, Liam calls me. First time in months. No apology. No, hey man, I didn't know. Just, are you really mad about the store? It's not that deep. You're a teacher. You don't even want to run a business. That wasn't the point. The point was, it was never theirs to take. I started digging more, talking to Grandpa's old accountant. Turns out he had left a binder of files and letters. One was addressed to me. In it, he said he hoped I'd use my share to do something meaningful and build something lasting. He didn't write Liam a letter. The store was never meant to be a reward. It was a responsibility. It was supposed to be protected, not handed off like a party favor. But guess what? They gave it to Liam. Let him run it into the ground. He turned Grandpa's legacy into a hangout spot. Loud music, graffiti on the back door, cash register always short, shady dudes in the alley after hours. The neighborhood stopped going. The vendors pulled out. Within a year, the whole place was on the city's radar. Some inspector finally found actual drugs in a shipment of canned goods. Not weed, not pills, fentanyl. The place got shut down instantly. Police sealed it off. Liam got arrested for unintentional possession with intent to distribute. He had no clue how it even got there. Know who they called? Me. Mom, Dad, all panicked, saying he needed help. Bail was high. Legal fees were coming. They were worried. Said I was the only one in the family with a stable income. You're strong. He's your brother. We just need a little help this one time. Nah, that was the moment I realized. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as backup, as a wallet, as the guy who takes the fall so the golden boy gets another restart. I blocked every number. I was done. After I blocked them, I figured I'd get some peace. Wrong. That was just round two. The store got sealed off. You couldn't even walk past it without seeing the big red notice on the door. Closed, under investigation. Local news picked it up. Real short clip, just enough to make it awkward for anyone who used to shop there. All they said was a small family-owned supermarket got shut down due to controlled substances being discovered in the inventory. No names, no mugshots. But anyone from our area knew who ran that store. My last name wasn't exactly common. Liam somehow made bail. Don't ask me how, I didn't pay it. I assumed it was either my dad cashing in whatever savings they had, or one of Liam's sketchy friends fronting it. Either way, he was out, and my phone started blowing up again a week later. Not from them. From people I actually knew. Old coworkers, neighbors, even one of my professors from undergrad who shopped there. Hey, what's going on with the store? Is your family okay? One guy even asked if I was the one who got arrested. Yeah, that's how bad they twisted it. I found out later that Liam told people I used to help run the business, and that maybe it was my connection that brought the drugs in. Said I had ties to some people from my college job at a campus bar, which, for the record, I quit after one semester because the manager kept underpaying us. They couldn't prove anything, obviously. I wasn't even in the same city. But you know how it is. Enough people hear a lie and it sticks like gum on your name. I could feel it in every weird look I got when I visited home for groceries or a haircut. People pretending not to make eye contact, whispering when I passed, like I was some secret criminal mastermind for not bailing my junkie brother out of his mess. But the wildest part? My parents backed his version of events. They didn't say it was my fault. They just kept it vague enough that people assumed I was somehow involved. My dad told one neighbor, "We just wish he'd come home and help us fix this." My mom told another, "It's a family matter, and it's sad that he won't even speak to us right now." No explanation, no defense, just vibes and victim tones. Like I was the one who left fentanyl in the damn soup aisle. At one point, they even tried to get one of my old high school teachers to reach out to me as a neutral voice. She sent me this long email about forgiveness, how no one's perfect, and family isn't about fairness, it's about grace. I didn't even answer. I forwarded it to spam. Meanwhile, Liam was going around telling anyone who'd listen that I'd abandoned the family. Said I was always cold, always distant, never supported him. This dude once set fire to my backpack because I wouldn't let him use my credit card, and now I was the bad guy. And yet somehow I'm the problem for not stepping up when his dumb decisions finally hit hard. There was one moment, though, that really sealed it for me. A guy from the neighborhood, let's call him Mitch, ran into me outside a coffee shop. Mitch used to work for my grandpa, back when the store was clean, organized, and actually respected. He helped stock shelves, handled suppliers, did a little bookkeeping. He pulls me aside and goes, "You know they're saying you ghosted them right when things got hard?" I nodded. "Yeah, I heard." He shook his head. "Your grandpa would have been disgusted." That hit different. He told me my grandfather once said I was the one with a real head on his shoulders. Said I had backbone, discipline, the kind of person who doesn't fold just because people demand it. Then Mitch said, "You did the right thing. Getting out." That was probably the first time anyone actually acknowledged it. That I wasn't the villain. That cutting off my own blood wasn't weakness. It was survival. After that, I stopped second-guessing myself. No more guilt. No more wondering if I should reach out or try to patch things up. They weren't interested in fixing anything. They just wanted me quiet and useful. They weren't a family. They were a sinking ship, and they were mad I didn't go down with them. So here's where things started to turn. After Mitch told me about what Grandpa used to say, I started thinking, what else did they bury? I already knew they tampered with the will. What if there was more? I wanted to know the truth. I remembered Grandpa used to keep this old filing cabinet in his office at the store. It was locked, always dusty, and shoved behind his desk. I was never allowed to touch it. "For when I'm gone," he said once like a joke. But I was 15 then, and didn't think twice. So I started making calls. Not to my family. To people who actually worked at the store during those years. Mitch gave me a couple names. One guy, Sal, used to do inventory with Grandpa. Another, Linda, handled scheduling. Both had retired, but they were around. I bought some coffees, drove around town, and asked questions. Real ones. Did Grandpa ever talk about paperwork? Did he keep backups? Did he mention what he wanted done with the store? Linda hit me with it. She told me Grandpa gave her a sealed envelope a few weeks before he passed. Told her to hold on to it just in case the family starts acting funny. She thought it was dramatic, but she kept it anyway. Never opened it. I almost couldn't believe it. She gave it to me right there in the driveway. Dusty, sealed tight, and addressed to me in his handwriting. Inside, a typed letter. Dated and signed. No frills. Just a straight one-page note explaining what he wanted. If anything happens to me, and if the store ends up in the wrong hands, know that this business was built on trust. Your father doesn't understand that anymore. But you do. You always have. The building is leased under a trust in my name. The trust passes to both of you at 21. If anything changes before then, someone tampered. My hands were shaking. There was also a second paper, the trust deed itself. Guess what? The property deed had not been fully transferred. The business name, the equipment, the accounts. Yeah, those were shifted. But the physical building was still owned by the trust Grandpa set up back in the 90s. And as it turns out, I had legal rights to it. The reason it hadn't come up during the investigation? Because no one looked past the surface. The storefront was in Liam's name now, but the structure, the land and the lease, was still tied to Grandpa's trust, and the trust legally passed to both of us. My father must have missed that when he was playing junior lawyer. And here's the kicker. Since the store had been shut down due to a criminal case, and the property was no longer in legal use, I could file a claim to reclaim and repurpose it, especially if I could prove the current occupant, Liam, had breached every part of the lease agreement. It was like finding a trapdoor under the burning building. So I hired a lawyer. Not a fancy one. Just a solid, no BS guy who used to handle small business disputes. Showed him the trust papers. Showed him Grandpa's letter. Gave him everything. He told me I had a real shot. It took months. Lots of paperwork. Liam didn't respond to the notices. Neither did my parents. They probably didn't even read them. They were too busy scrambling to fix their PR and keep Liam out of jail. And I wasn't loud about it either. I moved in silence. The hearing came quick. Property court, nothing flashy. I walked in, wearing a basic gray suit I bought secondhand, and showed the judge every document. The trust, the lease, Grandpa's note, the fact that Liam had violated about 9 different lease terms, illegal activity, non-payment, abandonment. The judge ruled in my favor. Just like that, I got the building. Not the broken business, not the name, not the inventory, just the bones, the real asset, and that was enough. A week later, I posted a notice on the front door. This property is now under new ownership. Former occupants are barred from entry. Violators will be prosecuted. You know how fast word travels in a town like mine? Instant. Liam tried to play dumb. Showed up with 2 buddies, tried to get in. I had security cameras installed that morning. He jiggled the lock, then read the notice out loud like he didn't believe it. Called my number. First time in over a year. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Started all pissed off, yelling about how I had no right. Then he switched it up and tried the soft voice. Let's talk, bro. We're still family. Then back to anger. You always thought you were better than me. I saved it. Didn't delete it. Dad called 2 days later. Said I was being cruel. Said I should have warned them. Warned them? Like they warned me when they erased me from the will? I told him flat. I didn't take anything. I claimed what you tried to steal. Click. No more calls after that. The building sat empty for a while. I didn't rush to fill it. I was careful. Smart. I hired a contractor to gut the place. Got rid of all the shelves, the counters, the backroom garbage Liam left behind, had them repaint it. Clean slate. Meanwhile, Liam got hit with a second charge. One of his friends flipped and told the cops the fentanyl was part of a distribution ring. Claimed Liam stored it in the break room freezer. He was out on bail again, but things were getting worse. He tried to pin it on someone else. Obviously. Still didn't change the fact that I now owned the last thing Grandpa built with his own hands, and I wasn't about to waste it. I didn't rush into anything once the building was legally mine. I could have sold it, flipped it, let it sit and rot just to prove a point. But that's not how I was raised. How Grandpa raised me anyway. He built that place to serve people, not to impress them, not to profit, just to be solid, dependable, the kind of place folks could count on. And yeah, I could have walked away, let it be a tombstone for everything they wrecked. But I wasn't about to let Liam's name be the last one attached to that place. So I got to work. I cashed out some savings. Took on a side hustle doing weekend tutoring to free up money. Found a small local construction crew, mostly veterans and blue-collar guys with clean reps, and told them exactly what I wanted. Tear it down to the bones, rebuild it right. No loud colors, no neon signs, no chain logos. I wasn't turning it into a Subway or some trendy, overpriced boba bar. It was going to be a co-op grocery store. Locally sourced produce, fixed pricing, open shelves, honor system on some stuff. Just like Grandpa used to run it. Not flashy, not big, but real. At first, people were confused. I didn't put my name on anything. No grand opening, no press. I just unlocked the doors one day and turned the lights on. Clean aisles, wooden shelves. Smelled like soap and citrus, not chemicals and mold. The first person who walked in was a woman named Ms. Corley. Used to come in every Thursday for canned tomatoes and cornbread mix. She looked around, blinked twice, and whispered, "It smells clean again." That was all I needed to hear. Word started spreading. Not fast, just steady. People came in curious, left with full bags. I didn't talk much, just kept the register manned and the shelves stocked. Sometimes I'd work the back, other times I'd be up front. Everyone who walked in was treated like they mattered. No loud music, no weird dudes hanging out back, just order, peace. And of course, that's when Liam came sniffing around. First time he showed up, he didn't even come inside. Just circled the block in a beat-up sedan, windows down, staring like he expected someone to throw him a parade. I ignored him. Then came the notes. First, it was a folded piece of paper, slipped under the door. "We should talk. I have ideas." A week later, "You owe me at least a meeting." Then he switched it up again. Grandpa wouldn't want this. I didn't respond. He got bolder. Showed up one morning before I opened and started yelling through the glass like a kid locked out of the house. "You think you're better than me? This was mine. You're just a leech who took advantage of a dead man." I just stood behind the counter and stared at him until he left. Next day, someone keyed the delivery van parked out back. A week later, a rock came through the front window. Small one, didn't break much. But still, I reported it, filed everything, got cameras installed. The cops didn't do much, but I wasn't expecting them to. This wasn't about justice, it was about endurance. Liam was unraveling, and everyone could see it. That's when things flipped. One of Liam's old friends, Tony, showed up one day looking to talk. I was ready to tell him to screw off, but he came in looking rough. Hood up, hands in his pockets, eyes like someone who hadn't slept in a week. He tells me Liam's been telling people I stole the place from him, that I snitched to the cops about the drugs, that I forged the documents. Then he leans in and says, "But nobody's buying it anymore, man. Everyone's seen the store. It ain't like it used to be. It's better." That stuck with me. People were finally noticing the difference. And not because I plastered my face on a billboard or made some big speech. Just by showing up. Running it right, the community started backing me in small ways. A retired electrician came in and rewired the whole back room for free. A local farmer offered a produce deal below market rate just because his mom used to shop there when she was pregnant with him. One day, a kid about 12 years old came in with a crumpled $5 bill and asked if we had any real peanut butter. Not the fake kind. I showed him the shelf. He looked at me and said, "My grandpa used to bring me here when I was little. He'd say, 'This place don't cheat you.'" I just nodded and rang him up. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just some petty revenge project. It was redemption. Not for me. For the place. For what it used to be. For what they tried to erase. Liam tried one last thing. Filed a claim saying he had rights to the store name and wanted me to pay him brand damages for reopening under the same address. He even showed up to the mediation with some cheap lawyer and a printout of Grandpa's old logo. He thought that would scare me. Instead, my lawyer hit them with lease violations, forged signature reports, and a notarized copy of the trust deed. The mediator barely looked at it before tossing the claim. Liam left the room red-faced, muttering something about getting even. I haven't seen him since. My parents? Still radio silent. I think they're embarrassed now. I heard through a distant cousin that they tried moving a few towns over. Fresh start. Clean slate. All that noise. I don't care. I've got customers. I've got peace, and I've got a key in my pocket to a place they thought they buried. It took about a year for things to fully stabilize. The store was running smooth. Inventory turned over fast, the shelves stayed full, and the regulars came back like clockwork. Some brought their kids. Some brought their parents. Some came in just to talk. One guy dropped off an old framed photo of him and Grandpa from the 80s, back when the place still had handwritten signs and cash-only registers. I hung it by the entrance. I didn't advertise, didn't post online, didn't chase clout. I just kept doing what worked. Then the apologies started. They didn't come fast, and they definitely didn't come honest. But they came. First was my mom. Out of nowhere, she emailed me. Subject line, just checking in. The body was 4 paragraphs of nothing. Said she hoped I was well. Mentioned that she and Dad had been through a lot lately. Then she slid in this gem. I know things were tense between you and your brother, but he's really been trying to get better. Maybe you two could talk. No mention of the will. No mention of the years of gaslighting. Just a soft nudge like none of it happened. I didn't reply. A month later, my dad called from a new number. I let it go to voicemail. He left one of those weird, overly formal messages like he was speaking at a company meeting. Hi. Just wanted to say we're proud of what you've done with the store. Hope you'll give us a chance to come see it sometime. Translation. We want to show up and act like we supported you the whole time. Still no apology, no ownership, nothing. I blocked the number, but the one that hit different, because I didn't expect it, was from my uncle, my dad's older brother. Grew up helping run the store back in the day, then moved out west. Never got involved in the family drama. He and Grandpa weren't exactly close at the end, but they still talked sometimes. He emailed me short and to the point. I don't know what really happened between you and the rest of the family, but your grandfather would have liked what you did with the store. He told me once you were the only one who ever actually listened to him, that you had a builder's hands, not a taker's mind. Whatever that means. I hope you're well. Let me know if you ever need anything. That one stayed with me. Didn't mean we were suddenly close or anything, but at least it wasn't manipulative. No fake guilt trip. No rewriting history. Liam didn't reach out. Not directly anyway, but I heard about him. He'd been bouncing between towns, couch surfing, picking up sketchy jobs. Apparently he tried to start a side hustle selling energy drinks at gyms, but got banned from one for scamming people. Then he got hired at a gas station and fired 3 days later for arguing with customers. One of his old friends came into the store one afternoon and said Liam was telling people he used to own this place. Said I took it from him. I just said, cool, and rang up the guy's milk and cereal. I wasn't trying to defend myself anymore. I didn't have to. The proof was in the shelves, the floors, the lights that stayed on. Anyone with a memory longer than a goldfish knew who built this and who torched it the first time. But then came the wild card, my cousin Amy. She was the only one in that family I ever halfway trusted. Daughter of my dad's sister. Smart. Quiet. Stayed out of the drama. Last I heard, she'd moved upstate for graduate school. She showed up one day out of nowhere. Didn't email, didn't text, just walked into the store like a regular customer, bought a jar of jam, and asked if I had a minute. We sat in the back. She didn't small talk, just laid it out. My mom's furious with your dad. Says he handled everything wrong. Liam's a mess. Your parents won't even say your name anymore. It's like they're pretending none of this happened. I nodded. She kept going. Just so you know, I saw the original will. Grandpa left you half. Everyone in the family knows. They just don't say it because admitting it means admitting what they did. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out something I didn't expect. A tiny, yellowed envelope. On the front, in Grandpa's handwriting, for the one who listened. Inside was a photo of me and him from when I was 9. We were fixing a squeaky cabinet door in the store's back room. I had a screwdriver in one hand, grease on my cheek, and this goofy grin on my face. He was behind me, holding the cabinet steady. Amy said he kept this in his wallet until the day he died. I didn't say anything, just stared at the picture. It wasn't proof. It wasn't legal, but it was real. Before she left, she asked if I'd ever talk to them again. My parents. Liam. I told her the truth. If they ever show up and own what they did, no excuses, no spin, I'll listen. Doesn't mean I'll let them back in, but I'll listen. She nodded like she understood, but I knew she also knew. It was never going to happen. People like them don't admit things. They wait until you're tired, until time wears you down enough to take a watered-down apology so they feel better. I wasn't going to give them that. Not after they broke everything I built. Not after they left me to clean up the wreckage. Not after they watched me struggle and called it strength. People think closure's some grand moment, like one day the skies part and everything makes sense. But in real life, it's boring. It's small. It's you unlocking the door to your shop at 7 a.m. while the rest of the world's still asleep. That's how it ended for me. No dramatic showdown, no big family meeting, no crying in the aisles, just peace. The store kept growing. Word of mouth was enough. We brought in local eggs, real butchered meats, milk from an actual dairy upstate. Prices stayed fair. Nobody got rich, but nobody got screwed either. The regulars knew me by name. A few of the older ones said it felt like it used to when my grandfather was alive. I kept the photo Amy gave me in a small frame under the counter. Didn't hang it. Didn't want people asking questions. But I saw it every morning when I counted the drawer. Me, 9 years old, holding a screwdriver too big for my hand, grease on my face like war paint. Grandpa behind me, steadying the cabinet with one hand and my shoulder with the other. That was my foundation. One afternoon, about a year and a half after the grand reopening, I got a letter in the mail. Real envelope, real stamp, no return address. Inside was a folded note and a crumpled $20 bill. The note read, "For the trouble I caused. I know it's not enough. You don't have to respond. No name." But I recognized the handwriting. Liam's. I didn't cry. I didn't rip it up. I didn't even show it to anyone. I just put the 20 in the register like it was any other bill and tucked the note into the same drawer as the picture. That's the last I heard from him. Rumor says he left the state, went somewhere south, maybe Florida. Someone told me he's bouncing between jobs, living with some girlfriend, trying to stay out of trouble. I don't know. I don't care. I don't wish him harm. But I'm not letting him near this place again. As for my parents, they never came by, never emailed again. Last I heard, they tried to get involved in some church thing, probably hoping to rebrand themselves as humble, God-fearing folks who just had a tough time with their difficult son. Let them spin whatever story helps them sleep. I'm not in it anymore. I ran into my old high school guidance counselor one day. She walked into the store with her husband and did a double take when she saw me behind the counter. "I thought you were going to be a doctor," she said. I just smiled. I guess I was meant to fix something else. She laughed and bought 2 jars of honey and some flour. That's how most people are with me now. Polite, curious, respectful in that quiet way, like they finally understand who was holding things together all along. And that's enough. You know what I learned? You don't have to scream to win. You don't have to fight dirty. Sometimes you just keep showing up, keep building, keep doing the thing nobody thinks you're capable of. And eventually, they run out of ways to deny it. The day I really knew I'd won wasn't the court victory or the first $100 day at the register. It was a Tuesday. Slow morning. Cloudy. This old man comes in. Gray beard, worn boots, one of those guys who never says much. He grabs a few things, pays cash, and as he's leaving, he points to the ceiling. "You changed the lights," he said. "Yeah, brighter. Cheaper to run." He nodded, then paused. "Your granddad would have liked that." Then he walked out. I stood there for a second. Lights humming above me. Floor clean. Shelves full. Door still swinging. And I realized I didn't need an apology from them. I didn't need their version of the truth. I didn't need them at all. They told me I was the strong one so they could pile everything on my back and walk away clean. But the strength they talked about? That wasn't real strength. Real strength was walking away and never going back. Real strength was building something they couldn't break. Real strength was silence when they expected shouting. Dignity when they wanted drama. A locked door when they came knocking. And now I own the keys.